Round of applause for you. Good job. 1L is awesome. So the favorite topic that we have is tech. Yay. That was my least favorite part of law school, actually, to be completely honest. I hated it. There was so much that you had to just create an account with this, log into this, use this software, download Exemplify, which I hope you tested out a little bit before you go into your finals. So today, I just want to talk about really basic stuff that shouldn't overtax your brain, but maybe hopefully everybody will get a little something out of it. And I want to help your computers make your life a little bit easier instead of a little bit harder. I want the software that we have access to through the university to help make your life a little bit better and not a little bit harder. And so we're just going to go through it. I'm going to ask you guys stuff along the way. And if there's ever something you think, oh, we need to go into this a little bit more, let's go into it a little bit more, because if you have trouble with it, then probably somebody else has trouble with it too. So first thing we're going to do, there we go. I'm going to log into my Windows computer. This is my work computer, and so can you imagine, every time anyone who works here has to log into our computer, we have to put in that long, same email password that you have. The one that's like 12 digits that took half an hour, if you were lucky, to put in. So I don't like doing that, which is why I have this little thing where I can just click on the little image a couple times and it lets me go through. That was fun. I haven't shared that with any of the faculty or the staff that works here yet, but I plan on it when I'm feeling very charitable. So if you have a Windows computer and you want it to be really secure, this is a good way to get into it really quick and not have that torturous password making your life just hell. And I even have gotten an email recently that said my password's about to expire in like 9 days or something, so I'm going to get to have the fun of creating a new password. You're all going to have the pleasure of that too soon, which will bring me to the first thing that I think is really useful, because I don't even know my password. I have a password manager that does that for me. This one, this is called Keeper. I pay money for it, but there are so many that are free. You've got probably free ones that are built into your computer. Just out of curiosity, who's Mac? I prefer Mac too. I was so mad that they didn't let me have a Mac here, but okay, so not Mac. It looks about like 60-40 in favor of Mac. Nothing against you, as long as you know how to work through it, is okay. Password Manager, though, it will help make your life just a little bit less difficult in law school. In Macs, you have the keychain, and you can use that. The only problem that I would use that thing all the time, except you can't really use it that easily in a Windows computer. So I'd have to have two separate wallets of my passwords. So I had to settle on this third-party one. That's fine. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It gets the job done. I don't have to remember my passwords. That's the most important thing, hands down. As an aside, I really want to emphasize that when your finals come and when you're on Exemplify and you have only a certain tiny, tiny amount of time, and 4 hours is a tiny amount of time, it's a typing contest. It is a typing contest. So if you're not really confident in your typing skills, then practice. There's tons of them. You can just Google like free typing course, and there's some like up here that you can just start from the very beginning and just work on the first line. You can work on your F's and your J's. You can test how fast you can type. And I learned that I can type 70 words a minute, which really impressed me. I didn't know I was that good at it, but I guess you just keep practicing. People can go up to like 100 words a minute when they're really good. If you can do that, you're probably going to get a letter grade higher than you would otherwise. And incidentally, read the book Getting to Maybe, which is all about taking law school exams and how different they are than a regular exam, because you want to go and explain everything. But so many of your exams are check this box, check this box, check this box. I identified the issue. Here's where it splits off. Read that book. It's a really useful book. It'll help you study less or get better grades, or, they're all kind of useful. So learn how to type as best as you can in as short an amount of time as you can. We have Microsoft 365. Has everyone logged into that yet? At least I saw someone who said, I haven't logged into it yet. We're going to just have a look at it, and I am going to make the recommendation that if possible, you don't use it. It's useful. It'll keep all of your information over there. And of course, my computer doesn't want to be connected to anything. So let's see what we can do. Connected, open. How about that? Let's see if the guest will let me at it. Okay. That was just, we were still joking about how the internet failed while we were doing our library talk for you. Wow. That was the library chat box. That's what I hear anytime you chat with me, so I very much hear it. That volume sure is loud. Okay, so you get into it and you can sign in. This is my favorite part right here. Look at that. I don't even know my password. It just put it in for me. That is the easy life right there. So you get into Microsoft 365. It has all of the apps, everything that you might want to get into in there. And you can edit your documents in there and everything. But again, I encourage you, please get the actual individual apps that go with this. And there should be, install apps. How convenient. You can take that and you can actually get a desktop app for Microsoft Word and Microsoft Outlook are the big ones. You'll also want to do PowerPoint probably. You may want to do Excel, but Outlook and Word. Remember what I said about Google Docs. Did I tell you about Google Docs? Don't do it. Don't use, well, not Google Docs, but the word processing application. Use Microsoft Word. There are some things that you will really be glad that you don't have to do when they come to say, hey, you need to make a table of authorities for your brief. It'll do it for you. It'll update it so that you don't have to change every page number. It is the way, and I know for a fact that at least one professor knows what it looks like when someone uses the Google word processor and will actually take points off for doing that. But even without that, when you're a lawyer, you need to use the software that everyone around you is using so that you can collaborate more easily. And Microsoft Word is that. So do yourself a favor and install the apps, and you will have that there at your disposal. It may be that in a Mac, you have to download it through the App Store. You all know how to work the App Store, and so that should be no trouble. There's a way to log in and connect your account to it. You'll use that superb, very secure 12 to 200 character password, and you'll log in, it'll merge your account, and then you'll all of a sudden have everything on there that you need. So I can go into my Outlook here, and I have my account right there, merged. I've got an email, of course. Let's see. Okay. So who uses Outlook regularly already? A good few. All right, this is good. The rest of you who don't, please start using it, because chances are when you're in the workplace, you're going to have to use it anyway. And I won't lie, I don't like Outlook. But I got to use it for my job. And so I use it like everything. I try to make my life just a little bit easier. And so your settings in these things will actually make your life suck a little bit less. And I know, like, you make shortcuts. I can click on this thing and it'll just automatically send an email to all of the library people, because I don't want to type it in each time. I did it one time like 2 years ago and it was easy. Same thing, you can make rules. Anytime you get some stupid email from, like, I was going to say Barbary. Like, Barbary's great, but you get just kind of spammed with come see our new offer. And whenever you get marketing emails that you can identify, you can create rules. If you don't just straight up unsubscribe from the list like I prefer to do, you can just make rules. You can create another box here. I have this one that's periodic emails, and it just throws everything that isn't addressed to me directly, that's something I want to actually read about. It'll just throw it in there. And then, like, maybe twice a day, I'll just look through it and then ignore it for the rest of the day so that I can answer your emails without being distracted by stupid emails. So with all of these things, it's really important to know how to modify the settings. I find this app to be really weird with the way it does the settings, because you click on File, and this is what comes up when you click on File. It's not where I would expect the options to be. The options are down over here, is Options, and yet all of these other things are options too. And so I wonder, you know, there's a labeling thing that's a little bit weird. One thing that is really important to me is to silence the notifications of when an email comes in. Don't do that to yourself. It's bad enough to get a vibration when my wife texts me, which isn't that often. But your mail, you just don't need to get that. And so you can go down here, look, I've got everything unchecked. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to check my email. And I don't need the extra reminder. I know to check my email. Thanks. Same thing. You guys should just you are already in the habit of checking your email. Don't worry about having it tell you about it. Customizing, though, I will say that you probably want to make some sort of signature. It's really popular to have, you know, your name, your title, Juris Doctor candidate, class of 26? Excellent. Maybe put like contact information there. You make it your own, but you edit it over here, and you'll have your signature. You can edit the fonts and all that, and you want to make it consistent with the font that you write your emails in. So I pick Garamond for some reason. I like the font. It's a font that you can submit a brief to a court document to a court with. And even though some have said you can't submit in Garamond because it's a little smaller, but if you're allowed to use it and you have more to say than you have space for, pick that one. It takes up less space. And most importantly, don't put it in one of those little comic cursive kind of fonts. Just a nice simple font will do. And it'll just make you look professional when you're emailing people that are working at places you want to look. And same thing, you can change your default fonts with this stationery and fonts thing. All of these things have just entirely too many settings. This, Microsoft Word, but you really want to change your defaults so that you don't have to change the settings every time. So we're going to go into Word a little bit. I want to really emphasize, though, this little bit right here. This is the styles pane is the whole foundation of your table of contents, your table of authorities, the entire way your document is laid out. And this thing does not default to what you want it to. It has, you start a paragraph heading style for the title of your paragraph, and it's going to be like a different font. It's going to be a different color, and it just makes no sense the way the defaults are. So you want to modify the defaults so that all the time you have this thing. See, I've got an Garamond. I just really like that font. I'm sorry. It's just a nice multi-purpose font, though the and sign in italics is weird. But you put it on there, and you are going to say, add it to the styles gallery, and new documents based on this template. And then that'll just save it to, it'll save it as that forever. And it's fine. The normal font, the normal style, you probably already have it on Times New Roman anyway. But it's these headings. It's the headings that you're going to want to adjust and change the default once so you don't have to change it every single time you open a new document. Now, I'm going to show you two things that I think are really important to getting you into the groove of things. Again, this is the your law library website. You have that bookmarked on your favorites now, just like I do, right over here. We've got the quick access to research guides. And down here, there is a Microsoft Word how-to guide. And this is the guy who had this job before I did, made this. I see him at conferences every now and then. His name's Artie. He's really nice. He has videos on there. He's got videos. He's got content. Look, first bit, styles right there. Most important thing that you can kind of master in Microsoft Word. So you get a video, you get a handout, and you get a little practice document. This thing will probably take you somewhere between 1 and 2 hours to go through the entire thing, but it will save you so much time when it's like 11:30 the night before you got to turn your brief in, and you can't remember, how do I make this table of contents? You'll want to have done this ahead of time. It'll save you so much. And you'll learn stuff that you'll think like, oh, if I had known this I'm glad I know this from the beginning, because it's actually made me make my document in a more organized way. And yeah, I encourage you, leverage the resources that you have to work less hard, because you've got plenty of legal reasoning to acquire, and you don't need to be wrestling with your computers. There are better things to do. And it'll let you finish your law homework quicker so you can drink beer sooner. And that, you cannot neglect beer in law school. There's another thing in our websites here. We have the electronic resources section, and that's something Erica was going to show you, except the internet wasn't working. This is another thing that I just have it bookmarked on my favorites bar. And as a side note, use your favorites bar, because there's so many things that you just need to get into all the time. And, you know, like, look what I've got. I've got this business to get me to Westlaw and Twin, Lexis, Hein Online, which I'm going to tell you so much about next year, Bloomberg, this is our library catalog. I don't have to type in much in the search bars. I just go right into the things, and it saves me time. It lets me drink more beer at the end of the day. So I implore you, please use what you've got here. I'm going to show you this little resource right here. You're going to do our Microsoft Word research guide, and you're going to let Artie impart his wisdom and his love of Bill Gates and his products on you. But when you want to get more granular, this resource, Procertas, you have to have a login for it, which I can give you. It breaks it down by just really minuscule tasks. It gets you, so you can get into all of these, and let's see. There's trainers. Yeah, let's just see about that one. Instead of having like a whole long list of things, you get tiny, tiny little things. It's very granular. And you'll, let's see, proceed to the task. So it'll just say one little thing. You take the navigation pane, you rearrange one thing, just move it right down, save a document, and upload it. And how long do they want you to take? A minute and a half. It's just quick, tiny little things that you can do, and you can just get a little bit at a time. If you're interested in having that right now, you can email me, and I will put you in, and I'll push out a registration code. But normally we give that out in the second semester. Feel free to email me right now, though. And I want to note just a couple of things for people who either haven't used it very much, I'm jealous, or who I've even seen people who have used it a lot have a couple of troubles with it, and maybe I can help you avoid that. So this is my Zoom login. We all have a Zoom account through the university, which means that instead of, I think there was a time limit on how long your meetings could be if you have the free version, but this is the full version that you have. And so you sign in. The SSO login is the one that you will use because it's connected to your university credentials. So single sign on. It'll take you right over to that same thing that I had already logged into Microsoft 365. So it got you in here, and let's see. The most important thing that I want to get imparted into you is before you join, test your speakers and audio. Testing your business. Can you hear it? Yes, okay. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Yay, okay, so it worked. So now you get computer audio, you've got everything working, then you're happy joining. Keep yourselves muted. We on Zoom, everyone, we are all better seen and not heard on Zoom unless we have something to say. So keep yourself defaulted to being muted. We've all heard just hilarious things said in the background when someone has forgotten to mute. And yeah, that you don't want to be that one. So we've got Zoom, we've got Microsoft 365, browsers, make your bookmarks. It really doesn't matter if you're using Chrome, if you're using Firefox like I do, or Safari like I do on my Mac. But whatever you do, use your bookmarks and make them readily accessible. Make your life easier. The last bit that I have, and this has been good timing, we've got half an hour down, and all I'm going to talk about more until you get to ask questions is two-factor authentication. I've got my password manager. Why can't they just let me have that? But there are several options. I don't necessarily recommend the one that I've picked, but I have come to really love this thing. I get to just plug this into my computer and tap it, and it authenticates me. It's really fun. It's called a YubiKey, but the other options are like you have an authenticator app, which I always open it up when it's running out of time, and then I have to wait for the next thing. Getting the texts, getting the phone calls, getting the emails, it's such a nuisance. And it takes up so much of our time. I wish we could just sign in with a tangible thing, and that's the most hacker-proof thing you can get. Nobody's ever stolen my keys before. And with that, I will open up to any questions you guys have. It doesn't have to be about the technology. All right, well, I'm down there. You know where to find me in person. You can always chat with me in our little chat box. You can email me, christopher.collins, and have a good day.